Surah Al-Ikhlas, the meaning of Surah Al-Ikhlas is sincerity, but from an Islamic perspective, Ikhlas means to have faith in God's being and His attributes, or in the essential requisites of His attributes, in a way that eliminates any trace of association with others. So it's purity in faith, and that's what Surah Ikhlas is teaching to all Muslims. So last two sessions we covered Surah Al-Fatiha, and if you remember in Surah Al-Fatiha we are asking Allah, Ahdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, show us the straight way. So in response, at the end of the Qur'an, the whole Qur'an Allah has given to us, and one of the most important surah is Surah Al-Ikhlas 112. What is Surah Al-Ikhlas? What does it say? What are the topics in Surah Al-Ikhlas? The concept of Tawheed has been explained in Surah Al-Ikhlas by separating and purging it from shirk. So if you understand Surah Ikhlas at its depth, you're really purifying your faith, and it shows the sincerity. So it evolves the sincerity within us. So in the third point, Imam Ahmad's narration of Ubay bin Ka'b, that the mushrikun, the pagan idolaters in those days, asked, "O Muhammad, tell us the genealogy of your Lord." So this was the discussion that was going on in those days when Surah Al-Ikhlas was revealed. Whereupon Allah revealed this surah. Also through authentic ahadiths, it is proven that this surah is equal to 1/3 of Qur'an. So what's the meaning of it's equal to 1/3 of Qur'an? So Qur'an has three basic themes, and one of the theme is Tawheed. So one of the theme that Qur'an covers is Tawheed. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ said that this is 1/3 of the Qur'an. So Tawheed in its purity is explained in this surah. And the last point that I wanted to make is Surah Fatiha that we covered the first two sessions, and Surah Ikhlas, the beginning and the end of the Qur'an. So Surah Fatiha comes in the beginning, Surah Ikhlas comes at the end, distinctly bring out the reality that the concept of Tawheed encompasses all our beliefs. So let's go in detail what Surah Al-Ikhlas says. So the first ayah is Kul huwallahu ahad. Say, He is Allah, the one and unique. So if you understand when the Surah Al-Ikhlas was revealed, there was a dialogue going on among the idolaters, the people of Quraysh, Makkah in those days. Even the people of the book in those days were also involved in that dialogue. And a couple of questions were coming up where they were asking that, "O Muhammad, tell us the genealogy of your Lord." Those kind of questions were coming up. So in response, Allah revealed this surah. And you can see how Allah revealed. He said, Kul, say. And the word kul is a command that means to proclaim, to declare, to openly announce something so that every person becomes fully aware of it and there remains no ambiguity. So my Lord is He whom you yourself acknowledge, Huwa Allah. He whom you yourself acknowledge as your own, as well as the whole world's creator, its master, sustainer, administrator, and He whom you invoke for help at critical times. So this is how Allah is introducing to all of us. Beside all other deities, and I invite you, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was saying, I invite you to His service alone. So what's really is the meaning? What is Allah talking about here? Kul huwallahu ahad. First, it means He, Allah, is alone, as sustainer. No one else has any share or part in His providence. And since He alone can be the Ilah, deity, who is master and sustainer, therefore no one else is associate in divinity. Secondly, it also means that He alone is the creator of the universe and no one else is His associate in this work of creation. So there's nobody else has created anything. Everything that is in this universe is created by Allah. And there's no partner in this creation with Him. Thirdly, it means, in response to that question of genealogy, Allah said, He alone has been and will be God forever. Neither was a God before Him, nor will there be any after Him. There is no race of gods. So they were asking, was there a race? Does God belong to a certain race? And Allah said, Ahad. There is no race of gods to which He may belong as a member. He is God, one and single, and there's no homogeneity in between. And He alone is a being who is Ahad in every respect. So the word Ahad, Kul huwallahu Ahad, is different from the word Wahid. So in Arabic, Wahid is for one, but Ahad is a word that by itself is unique. It's single. It doesn't have any plurality. So, and the word from those days after it was revealed has always been associated to Allah. So that's why how Allah described in His first verse, in response to all the dialogues and questions that were going on about the origin of Allah. And even nowadays, the atheists, the people of the book, others are also debating this issue. And here Allah has just proclaimed just one verse. And He's telling us Muslims to proclaim it, to announce it, to declare it to all people of the world. Kul huwallahu ahad. Say Allah, He is Allah, the one and unique. And let's go to the second verse. Inshallah, we'll complete with the second verse. Allahus Samad. Allah is independent of all, and all are dependent on Him. So let's take some quotes that were given for a couple of scholars and Sahaba in those days, the companions. What's the meaning of Allahus Samad? So Hadar Ali, Ikrama and Ka'b Ahbar said, Samad is He who has no superior. Hazrat Abu Huraira said, He who is independent of all and all others are dependent upon Him. Sa'ad bin Jubair said, He who is perfect in all His attributes and works. Rabi bin Jubair said, He who is immune from every calamity. Muqatil bin Hayyan said, He who is faultless. So these are the meanings of As-Samad that the companions are talking about. Hassan Basri and Qatada said, He who is ever living and immortal. And then Munat al-Hamdani, another view is, He who decides whatever He wills and does whatever He wills without there being anyone to revise His judgment and decision. So whenever He makes a decision, no one in this universe can challenge Him. So He decides whatever He wills, and then He implements. Abraham Naqtai said, He to whom the people turn for fulfillment of their desires. So whatever our needs are, all the creations go to Him to ask. So by the word Samad is actually meant a large rock behind which refuge is sought from an enemy attack. So if there's an enemy attack and there's a rock and you're hiding behind it, you're taking a refuge against that enemy attack. So He's like a shield, a refuge. So that's what the meaning of Samad is. So He provides and sustains them, meaning the creations, hears and answers their calls of distress, and then fulfills their physical and spiritual needs. So this is the meaning of As-Samad. So in these two verses, Allahus Samad and Kul huwallahu ahad, Allah has explained who He is, Allah, what are His basic attributes, and He has negated nearly all the concepts out there that are being debated among all the people.